And again, everybody, if you wouldn't mind, just share this. We have the uncle of Hasim Rahman Jr., who'll be fighting Jake Paul in Madison Square Garden, Muhsin Cason. What's going on, man?
What's going on, champ? How are you?
Nothing much, man. I'm doing great. How are you
I'm
today?
fantastic, man. I just came from the press conference. Hearing Jake talk trash, saying that he beat me or he whooped my ass in sparring. So that was entertaining.
I know, man. It's funny because like I've been this weekend. I want to have you on. Want to have Hasim's brother on as well. But I was like, you know what? Let's do it after the press conference. I'm like, it's gonna be so much material to talk
Mm.
about. And man, I wasn't. Like I was right. There's so much stuff to break down from just this press conference. And again, regarding you, Jake saying that yeah, you guys was in the ring, and he got the better of you. So I gotta go off that. Is that true? Is that false?
Now you know that's not true. That would never happen. Jake works hard. You got to give him his props to how he can actually sell a fight and to his work ethic. But nah, I probably used about 30% on him, and I was told not to knock him out. But Jake knows. How about this? If you really think about it,
Hmm.
I'm in Jake's weight class. It's a reason why they didn't choose me.
Yeah, it's very fun they chose his opponent because Hasim wasn't like one of the, I guess, I don't say nominees, but one of the options I should say, because it was always going to be like either Anderson Silva, some other people, and so I
Right.
was happy, I was happy that Hasim got the opportunity, but I was like they're not even the same weight class, and then I was like, how is this gonna work? And then found out like, oh, they can go over a certain limit, and then I was like, well, that's a whole lot of like steps to go through versus just making a straight up cruiserweight fight.
Right, versus just making it, fighting a cruiserweight. And
Yeah.
no, I'm not taking anything from my nephew, but they're underestimating my nephew as well because my nephew didn't take his last fight serious, so they think they have something on him, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening. But yeah, if they really wanted to stay in that weight class, they know my number, they know me personally, but and they know what I can do. So you know.
Y- Yeah, it's a very and all this came like really quick too.
Yeah.
Do,
Yeah,
do, do
so
you,
it
do you-
literally in a span of a week.
okay, so that's what I was gonna say. Like when okay, so to back up a little bit, when Tommy Fury backed out, like what was he the first option? Did they talk to Silva? Like how soon did they get in contact with him?
I'm not really sure how soon, what the um, details were. I
Mm-hmm.
just know that I saw it online that Tommy Fury called the fight out, and then they gave my nephew a call, and I was like, take it because Jake wants to fight. Again, props to Jake for even attempting to fight a boxer, and and taking this step up in boxing. But yeah, they chose my nephew. But like I said, it's a reason why they don't choose me.
Do you think the reason why they chose him is because his last fight was in April, which was a stoppage, so he's coming off a loss. Do you think they say that he's vulnerable right now?
Yes, like my brother has said it in the in the conference press conference. Um, he doesn't feel like my nephew really took most of his fight serious, and yet he still won. And now Jake is basically saying like, okay, well, because they see something, they see a weakness, or they think they see a weakness, they're going to try to capitalize on it, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening um, come August 6th.
It's fun, man. You have been around all the big YouTube boxing events. You sparred KSI, you sparred
Yeah.
Gibb when Gibb was set to fight Jake, and then recently, I believe last year, like you was in the gym with Jake. So you've been around all these big
Yeah.
events, man.
Well, a good boxer knows how to lighten his punches and lighten his skills in order to help people. And so Floyd Mayweather said that a long time ago. He said a good fighter can fight anybody. because he knows how to use his power and he knows how to take away his power in order to really box. And so, because I know how to do that, and I learned that very quickly, I'm able to get in these camps and just work with these guys, in order to give them just enough to learn and
Got you. Yeah,
and not really hurt them.
yeah, got you. Because like for KSI, that was for Logan. He hasn't fought since,
But
and you was in. Go,
no,
go
I was
ahead.
about to say, but I will say for Jake, um, Jake, Jake, Jake really takes this serious, right? You know, you have
Hmm.
KSI. Shout out to him. He's a
We lost you. I think we lost connection.
yeah. Hello, hello.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you could repeat, yeah, yeah.
I
We
was
can hear
saying
you
that,
again, but
you know.
like right. Hmm.
Go ahead.
No, no. I was gonna say you was just about to say something about KSI, and then we lost connection.
Well, I was saying that KSI, when I was in his camp, it was a lot easier, to kind of move around. But with Jake, you had to put a little bit more skill on it, and that's really props to him, for how he's come along in his fight career. But yeah, I still had to take my time with him and kind of teach him some things. Same thing my nephew had to do when he was sparring him.
Okay, so you was there when Hasim and Jake sparred.
No, but my
Okay,
nephew told me about it, and so many other
okay.
people told me about it. So
Cause that's what like Jake is holding this, quote unquote sparring figures, and once one party said they got the better one, the other one said my hand was behind my back. You
he,
ran.
I mean, so it was said because I wasn't there, so I can't really speak on too much of it. But it was said that my nephew basically gave him a handicap. You only use one hand, and things like that. So we'll see on the fight. We'll see how much of this so-called sparring footage is real and stuff. I know what Jake won't post the footage of me. it won't be.
it,
It
it
won't. There won't be footage of me coming out.
yeah, it's just crazy because the reason why. Yeah, again, for people who don't know, this is the Happy Punch Promotions Twitter space, but I'm your host, Fight Lounge. Well, Fight Lounge on IG and Twitter. I follow UFC boxing, but my bread and butter is YouTube boxing. So Hasim was the first pro boxer to say, like, no, Jake's actually all right. And I was like, what? And then that's how, because I think he talked to Sky Sports, whatever. So he was like, yeah, I've been in the gym with him. Like you say, he takes the sport seriously. He's doing this, and this. So now, like, he was the first one to kind of like give credit to Jake when everybody was just shitting on Jake and YouTube boxing in general.
Mm.
And he was the first one, like, nah, like he's like I said, he's solid. He's in the ring. And now years later, boom, now they fight each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, you have to give one thing. Boxing is an honest sport, and you have to realize that you can't take nothing away from anybody who gets in the ring because it's a gladiator sport, and you have to have heart just to step in there. So but skills pay the bills, and there's levels to this. There's a big difference, between somebody who's just learning how to box and somebody who's been boxing for a long time.
Yeah, and again, my prediction is, I got Hassan. I just have him because he has forgotten more about boxing than Jake has learned in this short period of
Absolutely,
time.
absolutely.
And I think, like I said, they think he's vulnerable. If his dad said, yeah, he didn't take this seriously, they probably heard about that as well. So I think they're saying like, yeah, like let's get him now, while
Yeah, they're
he's,
trying to get somebody now watered down.
yeah,
You know, it's what's crazy. You can't be mad at it. It's a smart move, and it's a strategic move because now it shows that he wants to fight a boxer. But to the naked eye, it's like, oh, he's fighting a boxer. But to the true boxing fans, these small little details, and they'll eventually come out. But for the most part, it really comes down to the night of the fight on who comes and who shows up. You know, we're going to be training my nephew. I'll be in camp with my nephew, so he's going to come in dog shape.
gotcha. Well, let's talk about a little bit. Of course, this is mainly Jake. His fight MSG, But let's talk about how this is a big moment for your nephew and the family. He's coming off a loss, a TKO loss, and I remember when it happened. I mean, I said, "Hey, minor setback for a major comeback." And
Mm.
what bigger comeback than finding at the main event, Madison Square Garden, getting the bag? I know he wished it was bigger, but he's getting the bag. But like, let's talk about that. How like that's a huge opportunity.
It's the biggest opportunity. I don't even think his father has fought in a crowd like this. The YouTuber environment is completely different from the boxer environment. These kids love Jake Paul. They're going to be
Absolutely.
yelling. It's going to be it's going to be crazy to be in there. And my nephew has gotten to be able to be on the biggest platform even after a loss. He's coming on the biggest platform. So thanks to Jake Paul and his team, and thanks to Showtime. But we're coming to fight.
I whenever these events were UFC boxing, YouTube boxing, I really don't care who wins. I just want to see a good fight. But Asim has
Mm.
always been good because like this time last year, I was on this stereo app. Most people don't know what stereo app was. It's before the tour space, and he came on the show, and I was like, "Yo, thanks for taking time out." That's when I had I still don't have no cloud. That's when I had no cloud, no nothing. He still came on the show, and then when I came over to here, I said, "Yo, I'm at a bigger audience." It's right when he was going to do the Sons of Legends. So I got him on here, and so like he's always been nice to me. I was always taking his time out to do his interviews. So I'm definitely rooting for him. I mean, Jake wins, I ain't gonna be mad, but I'm definitely rooting for him.
Right. Like you said, you're not
Yeah,
biased, so who the may the best fighter win. Of course,
yeah.
I am biased because that's my nephew, and I'm rooting for him as well. And we already know what Jake has, and we know what we know um, all of his all his weapons. So at least from what I remember. So for the most part, like you said, my nephew has forgotten more skills than Jake has ever even learned. So
Yeah.
um, this is going to be a fight to remember.
One thing that again, it was gonna be Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul. But the one thing I said about Jake versus Tommy, and you can kind of say for Hasim is every single fight Jake has had was make or break. If he lost to Deji back in 2018, his career I won't say would have died, but it took a major hit when
Mm,
when using the train camp with Gibb. If he lost to Gibb at that time, major hit on him.
hmm
When he fought Nate Robinson, like there was people. That's when ESPN was openly talking about like, oh no, this athlete gonna beat this YouTuber. Every single fight for Jake has been make or break, and so it's been on big stage, big lights, and again, no bigger than Madison Square Garden.
mm.
Do you think and again, like this is I don't say life or death, but what I'm talking about. It's serious.
I
You
know.
know,
I
y-
definitely understand.
yes. So do you think Hasim has that same like I'll go ahead and say, do you think Hasim like if I lose, I lose, or do you think like I have to win
No,
in
I know
Madison?
I know for sure that in his head it's this no possible way this dude can beat me, and no possible way this dude should ever beat me. It's a disrespect to the sport, because of how long people have been boxing. It's like we said, it's people always say it's levels to this, and Jake has been on the biggest stage. You got to give him those props, but when it comes to the level of boxing that he's of or of opponents that he's gone up against, not like nothing like my nephew. And so, you know, I'll speak for myself. For me, it would be a disrespect for you to call me and think that you have a chance to beat me. That's the chip that I would have on my shoulder. I definitely believe that my nephew feels the same way. That's the chip that he has on his shoulder, and that's the chip that he's going into this camp with. Um, in order to get this guy out of there.
It's gonna be a good fight, especially after the press conference, because unfortunately, I know who Hasim is because I interviewed him, but most of the public didn't. And then they saw a picture with them together. It's, oh, that's old sparring partner. They're in cahoots. when they did this, but then when the press conference of everybody's eyes, like, no, you like you can test this. You can be spar partners. Don't make you guys are friends.
Hmm. People don't understand but that again, that's the YouTuber fans who talk like that. They think that because people are sparring partners, they're friends, they're teammates, they're brothers. It's the same thing when I said Jake would knock out KSI. Still believe
Yeah,
that to this day because they're on two completely different levels. It does not mean I don't like Jake, and it does not mean I don't like KSI. It just means that I'm not biased towards who's going to win or not. If I see what I see and I call what I call. I call a spade a spade. And so these are the YouTubers that are angry and they think that, it's a loyalty thing because they really don't know about boxing. So in order for you to really, about boxing, so there are plenty of people. Everybody has sparred everybody.
yeah,
Literally, everybody spars everybody. And so it's not really I've sparred Us Kostagi and I've sparred Caleb Plant. I've sparred David Benavidez and I've sparred Jalen Love. I've sparred, it really doesn't matter because it's sparring. Sparring
yeah,
doesn't really count. It just helps you get better. That's it.
yeah. I agree. I think, and again, this is something like when Jake beat Woodley, when he knocked him out. There's people like, oh, it's a fake or it's in a contract. So they're always going to try to discredit, Jake. I think that's when they saw this one. It's oh, he's going to fight friend versus an unknown. I think that they think whenever Jake is involved with something fishy is going on, something shit is going on.
That's what you need though. You need haters.
Yeah,
You always gonna need haters, regardless of what you do. You're gonna need haters, just like um, um, this podcast, Happy Punch. You're going to need people who don't like you in order for you to sell tickets. Floyd Mayweather wasn't selling out arenas by himself. There were people who just came to see him lose. So it's really a good thing. You want to talk. People always want to talk. People are always going to say, "Oh, this is a fluke." But again,
okay. I think it is breaking up again. Yeah, I think we lost connection. Okay, hopefully Muhsin is able to join us. Oh, yeah, it's still breaking up.
how about now?
Okay, that's better.
All right, sorry about that. I was driving.
Oh, good.
I was coming from the press conference. Sorry about that.
All
So
good, man.
like I was saying, you're always gonna have haters, and you're always gonna have these YouTube fans are not boxing fans, so of course they're not gonna know what it's like to get knocked out or what it's like for a person to get knocked out.
And what's funny is even if by assumption you was Lord KSI, he hasn't fought in 2 3 years. Like like life goes on for you.
Yeah,
You can't just be one of his backup dancers. You got like, well, I got to struggle with my boxing career. If Jake want me just be in the gym, I gotta do what I gotta do.
that people don't understand. They just think KSI is just gonna miraculously just gain some skills out of nowhere because he beat Logan Paul. Like, all right, Logan Paul didn't really take boxing serious. Jake does. That's a completely different ballgame.
And especially like I said, having such a challenge. One thing, man, and because we're talking about Jake versus your nephew, but I don't know if you heard, but KSI, he's coming back. He's fighting Asasabi. What's your thoughts on KSI
Yeah.
coming back?
Um, I think he's gonna win. KSI, he picks his opponents as well. He's on a lower tier level, as far as opponents with rather than Jake Paul. Like Jake Paul is fighting real fighters. KSI is still on the level of fighting YouTubers and things like that. People who really know nothing about boxing. You can't just go into a ring and for a couple months and say, you know what, I'm a professional boxer. But I think KSI is going to win. I hope he wins. You know, I wish the best, nothing but the best for him. So we'll see. I'll be watching.
Yeah, that's gonna be August 27th in the UK. It's gonna be at the O2 Arena, I believe.
I love it.
Uh,
And of course, shout out to my guys, Gib and Adam Saleh. You know, I definitely expect for them to win as well.
I was just about to bring that up. They're fighting on Social Gloves too, right there in LA on July 30th.
Yep.
So who you have? Okay, so who you have that one? Give versus Austin Broom.
I'm going with Gib. Gib is a strong dude. I've sparred him before. You know, I've helped him out in sparring. Gib is strong. You know, Gib just has to learn how to, you know, control himself a little bit more. Adam Saleh, same thing. You know, they just need more experience, but they're going to do their thing.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Adam is fighting Austin's little brother, Lenman Broom.
Yeah,
So okay, let's go back on the Madison Square Garden, man. There's gonna be a big event. Do you want to be fighting on that card?
I'd love to. Man, I would love to fight on that card. I don't know who I need to call. I don't know who I need to talk to, but man, I would I would love to fight on that card. I'm already in shape. It's nothing to give me an opponent to fight in that card, but I'd love to.
I would say to take for you to take a little bit from the YouTubers. I would say make a call out video. That's the best thing on YouTube to do. If they want somebody to make a call out video, the better quality, high quality happens. But like even you busting gloves saying, "Yo, I'm in shape. I'll fight wherever." Boom, even that might get the attention of somebody who's also trying to get in that card, and
Right.
they just need an opponent.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, we need that. We need fighters who are willing to step up to the plate and you know, let's make a show.
Gotcha, man. So if you don't mind, man, we got people in the chat. If you guys have a question for Muslim, go ahead and ask to be a speaker, and you'll be able to ask me a question.
Yeah.
Okay, we got first person. Yo, you got a question?
Wait, me?
Yeah. You got a question?
Ask someone else. I'm thinking right now.
Okay. All right. Dominic, you got a question?
Yeah, what's up, boss?
What's going on,
What's
man?
up, champ?
I was just asking, do you think there's going to be a big disadvantage for Jake Paul for like the size comparison between them two?
Not really. You know, Jake has heart, so it really doesn't matter about size. It matters about skill,
I mean, no, yeah,
and
I
it's
completely get that. It's just he has to figure out a way to get in on him.
yes, he does. That might be a disadvantage, but that all depends on you know how my nephew fights in that on that day, and also how Jake fights on that day. So if you look at it, you know, just from a boxing point of view, yes, it is a disadvantage to Jake Paul for my nephew because my nephew does have the longer reach and my nephew is taller, so he'll need to come in if he wants to really fight inside.
Yeah, because I'm
But
not dissing your nephew or anything like that either. It's just like I've been watching both of them, and it's a good fight. It's a good matchup in my opinion.
I agree. It's a great fight, and you know, I love to see the outcome. You know, I'm always on the side of my nephew, so I appreciate the you know the question.
Hey,
you
thanks
know
for
what?
having me, man. I appreciate it.
Dominic, great question. I want to talk about this. I watched, his last fight when he lost to Kenzie Morrison. I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong. I think his cardio is what got him. I think he just got tired and got caught. And yes, he will be bigger than Jake. But you think possibly the cardio, like the longer the fight goes, that could disadvantage him?
Nah, that you know, you make mistakes and you learn from them. So my nephew has learned from the mistakes. That won't happen again. You know,
It only takes one mistake though. You got to think about that. Jake gets in people's head though.
that's correct. You know, but we as boxers, especially as professional boxers, we've learned that people try to get in your head all the time, even from the amateurs. That really goes out the window when it's time to fight. People always try to get into your head. People always talk. People always do this. As a professional, you got to learn how to block that stuff out.
Especially there was a time when Hasim wanted to fight Vidal. He wanted to fight
Yeah.
Vidal Riley, and so he used to KSI or the UK fans getting at him. So this ain't nothing new. It's new to having somebody talk shit to him face to face, like Jake. But he used to the online.
Yeah, you get used to the online very quickly. I mean, I got called a snake for the longest time,
Oh man.
because I said Jake would knock out KSI. So many people, you're a snake, you're this, you're that. You really think I cared about that?
Now, see, I'm a big KSI fan, and I can agree with you on that. I think Jake has the more skill and more experience right now. I do like JJ. I'm a big fan of JJ. I just right now, I think Jake right now is on a different level than JJ.
Yeah, man. Jake, put it this way: since KSI last fought, Jake has had 5 fights. So like you go with the more active fighter, and you go with the guy who has the more experience.
I mean, I'm not like I said, I'm not shitting on JJ, nothing like that. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
It's just I think Jake has the more experience under his belt. I think he'd knock out JJ. I'd give it 2 rounds.
Listen, I like KSI just as much as I like Jake. I'm not. It's nothing. Both of them are really cool guys outside of boxing, but you got to be honest.
Gotcha. Okay, Mason, you got a question?
Oh, never mind. I was about to ask my question.
You can go ahead, man. You were ahead before me. Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I got 2 questions, and they're both about JJ. I think JJ should fight 4 times before he gets to Jake because he can't fight 2 YouTubers and say I'm ready for Jake. So who do you think his other 2 opponents should be besides Austin and Alex?
I think Jake should maybe fight some of Jake's old opponents. See how he does. Maybe some UFC fighters, maybe Tyrone Woodley, to see his test and to see how far he can go, and I think that's how he should move up. But you never know. You never know what his management team is thinking. So we'll see what he does.
You know what's funny? Like literally days after KSI beat Logan, Tommy Fury called out KSI.
Tommy Fury, that is sad because Tommy Fury shouldn't even bother. He shouldn't be bothered with them at all. I never would ever say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to call out KSI or Jake Paul," because it's not really. It's levels to this, and you should be above that level because you are technically a real professional boxer. At the time, Jake Paul or KSI wasn't real professional boxers. They were YouTube
No.
fighters that became that, they were technically in the boxing realm, but they weren't professional boxers. There's difference. So Tommy Fury really doesn't get any props to trying to fight any of them. I mean, I don't really think much of Tommy Fury anyway, but he shouldn't be challenging them. That's like me challenging KSI.
Yeah, Tommy's name has been through the mud, man. After this the second time, and then that tweet, he's like, "Oh, I wouldn't fight you in London for 500K," and people was like, "Are you crazy?" Like, if this is supposed to be quote unquote easy money, and then Tommy's dad said, "Oh, he came in overweight, he didn't care." So yeah, Tommy Fury's name been dragged through the mud.
I mean, Tommy keeps letting everyone down, so he's kind of a disappointment to the Tyson Fury name or the Fury name. So he's going to keep letting people down until he realizes that he doesn't want to box anymore and wants to be a supermodel like he is. So we'll see.
Oh, okay. And my man, you had a second question? Desmond, you had a second question? Okay, I guess not. Mason, yeah. Okay,
I didn't
serious.
realize I was on mute. How do you think JJ's technique is since he's on True Fighters London, I think it's called? Because that's a pretty damn good gym. And they have a really good track record for like technical.
From who? From who? Who's their track record? That's the thing.
I remember watching Wade's video about that, but I forgot some of their fighters.
Yeah, they you gotta remember there's levels to this, and they don't have anybody. True Fighters is a YouTuber gym. It's not really a real gym, you know. Who do they have as a boxing gym?
All right, Desmond. I had to mute you because you had an echo. So you go
Oh.
ahead and answer. Because I don't know who fights at that gym either. Okay, well he's on mute. Mason, you have a question?
You were talking about it. You guys. First off, by the way, again, happy birthday, bro. But
Thank
also,
you, thank
I
you.
wanted. Yeah, no problem. So I wanted to ask you because you were talking about Jake and Hasim earlier. I wanted to get your thoughts on the press conference because there was a lot of shit being said. Like
Yeah, it was, man.
there was some tea being spilled, and I just want to know what you think. Like with Hasim saying like he wasn't taking his previous fight seriously, previous sparring sessions with Jake.
Yeah, styles make fights, and we need that for TV. So I love it, honestly. As far
Yeah,
as it was truth being told. It wasn't tea. It was just truth. It was just the honest, you know, fighters actually being honest about themselves. My brother said that my nephew didn't take it serious. My nephew knows that. My nephew's heard it before, and now he has a better opportunity, so he's taking it. And as far as the all the logistics of the fight, that's really between them. It's going to come out. Certain things will come out. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not true, and I personally won't say if it's true or if it's not true because it's not my place. But
Respectful, respectful.
yeah, but for the most part, you gotta love a drama.
Oh, of course.
So
You got to build a fight somehow.
you gotta build the fight
Plus,
somehow, and you gotta and it's going to be pretty cool. For the turnout. So I love the talk.
I honestly, okay. Am I one of the only people that thought it was great that Hasim did not want to make that bet?
yeah, I like
He was
that.
like, "Yeah, no childish shit. Like, I just want to fight. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, cool."
remember, there's two things. There's two things. There's two sides to that. One, we're Muslim, so we can't bet. Two, there's yeah, it's no point. We're about business. It's time to go to work. This is not going to be a oh, let's bet this. We're not Tyrone Woodley and all of that stuff trying to bet. No, we are going to show that there's levels to this.
I'm very looking forward to the fight, man. It's gonna be so good.
Can't wait.
Thanks for letting me ask a question, by the way.
No
Appreciate it.
problem, champ.
yeah,
You guys
no
have a
problem.
good one.
You
You,
too.
you too, mates. And again, that was a great question, man, because people didn't know Hasim before the press conference. They do now. They know what he looks like. They know what he talks like. They know he ain't gonna back down from Jake, and they know gonna take any silliness. Like he said about the bet, he's like, "No, I'm above that." That was a great display for I mean, win, lose, or draw. That did great for his career.
Absolutely, absolutely. Win, lose, or draw. It's the man gained 200 a quarter million followers overnight.
Man, you know
Quarter
what?
million followers overnight. So, it's done wonders for his career. It's just time to show up and knock this dude out. That's it.
You know, what's funny
Um,
because hold on one second, Mason. What's funny because I had him on here to promote his fight, the Sons of Legends, and I saw how many people was promoting it, and it was decent, but then boom, this one. Now everybody's talking about it, even on ESPN on a little bottom tracker. When they show the sports, it's a Tommy Fury out, Simon Jr. now win, and I'm
Yep.
like, how crazy is it now that like they're gonna talk about on the weigh-ins, but this thing, like your nephew's gonna be on ESPN, Sports Center, all that, man.
Everywhere. Everywhere. And like I said, Jake has done wonders for this sport. There are people who would have never watched boxing, but because of Jake, he's putting new faces in the sport and he's giving us new fans. So, again, props to him. Props to Jake for actually, you know, um saying what he said he was going to do. He said he was going to bring more money to the sport of boxing. He said he was going to bring more money to the boxers, to the fighters, and that's what he's doing. He's giving people opportunities that probably we wouldn't make this type of money, or my nephew wouldn't have made this type of money in a long time.
No, and like I said, it's basically this the eyeballs. You know, like he want to have this much attention, and again, okay, this is my second question. I know Mason had a question. Would this fight happen if you would beat Kenzie Morrison?
No,
That's what I think. I really think because again,
no,
he wasn't even one of the finalists. Like when Jake had his list of who he wanted to fight, he wasn't even on there.
no.
And
What he wouldn't have even been thought of if he would have knocked Kenzie Morrison out.
that's what I was thinking. I think seeing him, vulnerable, and that was your nephew's. I believe his first pay per view main event. So that was a big
Yep,
opportunity for him.
yep,
So there was eyeballs on him, and his Jake's team probably well, it's Jake. Jake's team didn't want him to have the fight, but Jake probably like, what, now's probably the time. But that's what I was thinking. I was like, because if he would have won, I highly doubt, he would pick them.
yep. He wouldn't have picked him. And we know that. But Jake is smart. He picks his opponents to his best ability and to his team's best ability to see, if he can have the best outcome. So, that's what he thinks is going to happen Saturday night, August 6th. So, my nephew's going to come prepared and in shape.
Gotcha. Mason, you had another question?
Yeah, you were talking about how it's good to have a massive following to get people to watch the fight. Obviously, boxing isn't about followers, but what did you think about Jake and Hasim arguing about the bot situation? Because he had like a few thousand followers, or like a few thousand to like 10,000 followers, and then soared to like 250,000. What do you think about that?
Uh, you know, Jake has 20 million followers on social media. You're
Oh,
talking about you're talking about maybe what is that? Shoot, 1/18th of of his followers. So not really bots. I mean, they want to see who he's fighting.
Yeah, and everybody was covering it. ESPN, Bleacher Report. I'm talking
Everybody,
about,
literally. He's
oh,
on
and
oh, it's
every
all over.
he's on the Zone,
yeah,
ESPN, everything,
yeah.
Showtime. And so you gotta that's what's gonna happen. Shoot. What before and shout out to KSI for helping me out. But he shared me on his story. When I first met him, he shared me on his story and I gained 3,000 followers, and that's actually how I actually started becoming an influencer. It was because of KSI. Shout out to him. I watched him after that. I'm like, how's this guy has so many followers? What is he doing? So I kind of tried to follow his blueprint, and then I got advice from Gibb, I got advice from Jake Paul. But yeah, KSI was the first person that shout me out on social media, and I gained 3 or 4 thousand followers from that.
I just, I don't know. I didn't really know what to think about the whole botting thing. I mean, I didn't look at the counts, like scroll through the list personally myself to like get like a snoop, but I don't know. I
I
feel
have
like
no
that
idea
shouldn't even
either.
matter in the
I
first
I'm
place.
I'm not looking through. I'm not looking through nobody's fans to see if they got bots or not. I don't really,
Yeah.
I don't really care that much. Just like even with my followers, I think I have 40,000 followers or 39,000 followers. I don't really. It doesn't really matter if I have bots or not, as long as I get the attraction that I want. As far as likes and things like that, so that way you can get a good fan base. That's really all you need.
Oh yeah. You don't have to worry about just like, I don't know. I'm not really into followers and all that. I could really give a rat's ass about them, to be honest.
Right.
I don't know. It's just everybody looks at it so differently. I just I don't get why
Everybody.
everybody's so up ass about wanting followers.
I
But
mean,
everybody,
That's that. I mean, that's what pays. Fans pay.
true. That is
yeah,
true. Well, but like
yeah.
besides that, but like it's, I mean, obviously it's clout. And I don't know
Right.
if, I don't know. I don't have a lot of followers, so I can't really say from
Well,
experience.
I think it's different for like, and this is something that we learned from boxing. Like the reason why these YouTube boxers are the position they have because they have built a fan base, You know, it doesn't matter if you have a million or 500K. They have fans. They're fans who are about to get to see him fight in person or about a pay per view. I think that's important. I mean, hey, I run a media page, Fight Lounge on IG and Twitter. I have a community. It's I think like a 3K followers. That's nice. But again, I'm not selling nothing. I think it depends on what kind of content you're posting. Like if you're an athlete, yeah, you want the big fans to see you on your journey.
Okay, I can understand. I mean, obviously, of course, you want to have a good loyal fan base. Like you said, you don't. It doesn't matter if you have like a million or 500K, as long as you have those fans that are willing to help boost you in your career and whatever you're trying to promote,
Yep.
whether it's a fight or not.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, let's let influencer boxer ask a question.
All right.
All right.
So, how competitive do you think Jake and Hasim's fight will be? Do you think that Hasim will just like blow him out early, or do you think it'll go a couple of rounds and Jake will give him some problems?
Honestly, I can't say. It really all depends on how my nephew shows up. If he shows up like we expect him to, it shouldn't be a competitive fight. It should be a walkover. Um, that's really up to my nephew and on how difficult he wants this fight to be.
That's a great question. And again, I have seen winning. You do have a win. But let's say like what if? Like if even he lose by points, even if it's by judges, whatever, if he was to lose, there'd be back to back losses. This guy he on paper he shouldn't lose to. How you think going forward? Like where everything be cool, would he be like, damn, would it really bother him? Like, because some losses you can shake and some just can't.
Every loss will bother you. I can't speak on my nephew on how if it would bother him or if he would be able to move forward. My nephew's very strong. He's mentally strong, and just like he moved forward and moved past his first loss, I'm pretty sure he would move past the second loss. But I doubt it. He's gonna lose. So, really not even thinking about it as far as the loss. Really thinking about how his career will excel after he wins.
Gotcha. And the only reason I bring it up because again, your brother, Hasim Rahman Senior, he's known for knocking out Lance Lewis and becoming the world heavyweight champion. Like that's history. They still
Right.
bring that clip up, whenever it's the anniversary.
Right.
If your nephew is the first person to knock out Jake Paul, boom, that's history.
It's a wrap. The sky's the limit for him.
Like and again that we talk about for years. Like some people, oh, Jake will finally get his comeuppance. Everybody will be talking about it. Now, on the flips, and I was going to bring because if Hasim's the first pro boxer to lose to Jake, that's history as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what
Absolutely.
made and
1,000%.
that's what makes the fight so exciting. Like we want 50-50 fights. We want exciting fights.
Absolutely. You want fights that are even. You want fights that are but on paper this is not an even fight, and on skill wise this is not an even fight. Um just as the fact that he has so many fans and so many and he's an icon, in this world, especially in the social media world. He gets to choose who he wants to choose.
Very fast. I'm gonna let and again I'm gonna let T Ray have a question. This is probably the last one. Again, Mohsen, thanks for taking time out to do this interview.
Fuck Jake Paul, Keemstars and no!
No, there you go.
Okay. All right.
What's up, T Ray?
I have a question for Muhsin. You would have sparred with Jake, and you would know how good he is. Do you think that if he gets past Hasim, he can go on to fight other pros and actually accomplish his aspirations of becoming a world champion at 175 pounds?
He's not at 175. He's over 175. But I I doubt he's going to get past my nephew. But if he does, he has to go through me. He has to. No other choice. Yeah, he can start his career on seeing if he wants to get a belt. But don't duck me. That's it. That's all I ask. Um, if and I doubt it's going to happen because my nephew's going to come and shake, and my nephew's going to come to fight. So this might be it for Jake, but yeah, I think regardless of wherever Jake goes, he's going to be able to excel because he has such a loyal fan base. So yeah, let's say that happens. Yeah, he'll be able to excel in the sport.
Okay, and again, thank you for taking time out. So guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Most right now, man, if you don't mind, you can shout out your socials. People can find you.
Oh, everybody can find me at the Muslim Boxer on every platform. Shoot, TikTok, Instagram, um, Twitter, basically every single social media. It's all the Muslim Boxer. So give me a follow. Watch my journey to a world championship.
And you saying you're gonna be in, your nephew's training camp. We might
Uh,
see you on one of those Showtime All Access.
well, I mean, you saw me on Jake's All Access, so
Yeah,
pretty sure you'll see me there as well.
there you go. So again, thank you everybody for stopping by. Thank you
All
for all the
right, champ.
speakers. All that. So I'm gonna wrap this up. If you want to hear the whole thing, it'll be uploaded on my YouTube channel. So yeah, so that'd be it for today's episode. Peace out.
Peace.